Hello students. Today we shall discuss on mood disorders. Here one has to differentiate mood from affect. Mood is what a person expresses his subjective feeling, and affect is what a clinician observes the facial expression. Think that mood is a symptom and affect is a sign. Now, what are the different types of moods? Depression, that you know, happiness, extreme happiness, bliss, or ecstasy. Look, this lady is blushing. A lady looks very beautiful when she blushes. Anger and irritability, fear and anxiety. This is how you must have sulked when parents did not buy chocolates of your choice. Suspicious, showing disgust. Mood disorders are also called affective disorders. These are typically episodic in nature, unlike schizophrenia. If episodes are only depressive, then it's called as unipolar, whereas bipolar type 1 has both depression and mania. In bipolar 2, depression is associated with hypomania. Long term mild depression is called dysthymia. When the mood is oscillating between depression and excitement, it is called cyclothymia, but it should not qualify for bipolar disorders. Minor depression, also called adjustment disorders, are secondary to some stresses like life events. This is the lifetime prevalence of mood disorders. Just go through it. If you look at depression alone, globally around 350 million are affected, close to 10% of population. It is heartening to know that depression and anxiety disorders have risen by 50% between 1993 and 2013. And one will be shocked to know that it is going to be the number one cause of disability by 2030. But in many developing countries, many people will not get appropriate treatment both because of lack of awareness and paucity of mental health professionals. Now, who are affected? Any caste, any religion, race, or country, any age, right from childhood to adult and elderly people, and people from any occupation can be affected. But some people are more prone, like teens and young adults, women, especially postpartum, and elderly. Now we'll discuss about etiology of depression. Many studies have shown that decreased activity of norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin in the brain during depression. Acetylcholine and GABA are also implicated. Dysfunctions of hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, and thyroid axis also have been found. These may be secondary to exposure to chronic stress. Meantime, growth hormone and prolactin also are thought to be contributing factors. Now, there are some psychosocial theories. According to Aaron Beck, a cognitive theorist, who says one's cognition, that is thought process, is responsible for his emotions and behavior. According to him, distorted thought and judgment about the self, for example, I am ugly, I am worthless, and I am a failure, and distorted thought and judgment about the world, that is, no one loves me, and about the future, it's hopeless, there is total darkness. Such thoughts will lead to depression. Second is from a learning theories. The depression is explained by a phenomenon called learned helplessness. Nowadays, animals are not used for any experiments. When it was used, in that experiment, a dog was kept in a two compartmental cage with a metal flooring interspersed with a small wooden wall. The dog can go from one compartment to another by jumping over the wooden wall. Imagine a situation when the dog is in a compartment and the experimenter gives electric shock. In an attempt to escape, the dog somehow randomly jumps to the other compartment. It learns how to escape by repeated such experiences by jumping from one compartment to another. Now the experimenter starts giving shocks to the floors of both the compartments. Dog tries to escape from one compartment to another in a bid to escape, but later realizes whatever it does, it cannot escape. It learns helplessness, so it stops escaping and lies wherever it is, receiving shocks. In humans also, when they are exposed to prolonged stress on which they have no control, they feel helpless and go into depression. Now, some psychosocial factors or life events. Since you are in a professional college, we will discuss some campus related stresses and later on stresses in general. Feeling homesick and ragging can lead to depression. A strict teacher, exam related or study related experiences, and the failure in the exam. Broken love affair, falling prey for substance use also might cause depression. Unemployment, struggling for PC, even if you have got a job, workplace difficulties. Now, bereavement, after death of a loved one, even after death of a pet also can lead to depression. Poverty or becoming poor from rich, financial recession, lockdown, now we all might be experiencing, also might lead to depression. Family problems, interpersonal problems, and marital problems also will lead to depression. Arranging marriage for daughter and sister was the biggest stress. Now the things are changing. Domestic violence is also important, which has got lot of legal implications. unfaithful partner, or divorce. The above two top the list of life events of Holmes and Rahe are even in presumptive stressful life event scale. Discrimination due to anything on caste, creed, race, religion, language, or even in infection. Sexual assault not only leads to depression but also post traumatic stress disorder depending how much violence was used. Some people who are publicly shamed or humiliated also will go into depression. Students, please check these two scales on stress. Many people think depression is caused by only psychosocial factors, but physical illnesses are also one of the leading causes. Many illnesses who are chronic, painful, causing a lot of economic burden and disfiguring will lead to depression. Now we will discuss signs and symptoms. In depression, there will be persistent depressed mood or boredom, loss of interest or pleasure minimum for 2 weeks, crying spells, insomnia or hypersomnia, lethargy, aches and pains, inability to carry out day to day activities. Decreased appetite or increased appetite, leading to decreased weight or increased weight, decreased libido, decreased concentration, memory, and indecisiveness. Indecisive means inability to decide. If depression becomes severe, psychotic features will start. One of them is delusional guilt. The guilt is out of proportion. For example, one feels severely guilty for having stolen 5 rupees from father's purse 25 years back and he requests people to hang him. Similarly, delusion of preference and persecution. He gives his own coloring. People know that he is useless fellow. That's why they try to talk about him and trying to kill him. He also might get auditory hallucinations of police approaching his house with guns. He also hears people preparing gallows to hang him and he feels he deserves it. A rare phenomena, nihilistic delusions or Cotard's delusions, wherein patient feels his blood has been dried up, brain and internal organs have rotten. He is dead and his body is putrefying and says his dead body is walking. As I have already told you, according to Aaron Beck's triad, worthlessness, helplessness, hopelessness. These might lead to tedium vitae, means tired of life, and the common expression of this is I wish I were dead. Gradually, suicidal ideations starts creeping into mind. These are the active thoughts of killing self. Attempt when he fails, when he survives, Unfortunately, many people complete suicide. Students, there is a separate class on suicide. Now, what is the impact of depression on patient and the family? It causes a lot of anguish, affects day-to-day activities, academic difficulties, inability to learn, earn livelihood, huge financial losses in case of attempted or completed suicide. Now we shall come to the treatment aspects. There are biological treatments. One of them is pharmacotherapy. Many norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, example desipramine, nortriptyline. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, example fluoxetine, citalopram, escitalopram, etc. And other drugs, amitriptyline, doxepin, imipramine, and venlafaxine. Electroconvulsive therapy is truly very helpful in severe depression with suicidal thoughts and for catatonic features. Other modalities are vagal nerve stimulation, transcranial magnetic stimulation, sleep deprivation, phototherapy, especially it is effective in seasonal affective disorder. Now there are varieties of psychotherapies. Brief insight oriented therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, interpersonal therapy, and family therapy. Students, this is the end of the class on depression. This is a homework for you. Write short notes on them and submit when your college resumes. Thank you.